Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you like and subscribe. Today we talk about the cerebral assassin, the game, Triple H. Of course, like many wrestlers, got his start in the dying territories or revitalized territories that thought they could succeed again, but kind of floundered. Um, would eventually end up in WCW. Um, had some decent matches in WCW. Um, was paired with William Regal and Dave Taylor, kind of part of that Blue Bloods faction tag team. So he kind of already had that snobby character down before he came to WWF. And of course, once he came to WWF, he became Hunter Hearst Helmsley, essentially a snob from Connecticut. Um, and I mean, he had a pretty good run. I mean, he was good at being a heel and leading people, and had some good feuds and won the Intercontinental Championship. Actually, the white version, as you see behind him. Um, brought China in as his bodyguard, which was one of the first times that we had seen a lot of women managers before, and some of them could get physical, like Sherry Martel and Luna Vachon, Miss Jacqueline, but she was really the first one that she could get more than physical. Like she could go in the ring and wrestle. Like she was the first intimidating female bodyguard. And it was a great way to get him even more heat as his character evolved. Of course, he would um, go up against Mark Marrow and Goldust, The Rock, Owen Hart. Um, but like a lot of people, because he was traveling with Sean, Scott, Kevin, X Pac, like they all grew frustrated. And of course, Kevin and uh, Scott and X Pac all ended up leaving in '96. And Triple H was actually supposed to win the King of the Ring in '96, but due to the curtain call, that honor went to Stone Cold Steve Austin. So Triple H was in feuds with, yeah, nobodies that, eventually his career was going to, come back, but it took, roughly about a year. And then he won King of the Ring in '97 at a classic rivalry with Mankind during that time. Um, and the King of the Ring really elevated him, and then grew more and more frustrated, and then they finally decided to put him and Shawn Michaels together to form DX. Of course, the original DX comprised of Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Chyna, and Ravishing Rick Rude. And Shawn was the champion. Triple H wasn't holding a title until Shawn dropped the European title to him in December of 97. So not only was Triple H a former Intercontinental Champion, he was a former European Champion, which he feuded with Owen Hart over, which was a incredible rivalry that lasted into WrestleMania 14. Then, of course, the night after WrestleMania 14, he dropped the bomb and brought X-Pac back and formed his new version of DX. And, he became the Intercontinental Champion, feuded with The Rock. They feuded with The Nation, had great segments back and forth between The Nation and DX. And, like everybody else, he wanted more. And he would end up joining the corporation, winning Rumbles, winning world titles, having feuds with The Rock, Mankind. I mean, their Hell in a Cell match at the Royal Rumble. Any match with Triple H and Mick Foley is go out of your way to watch any of them. Whether it was King of the Rings, Summer Slams, Royal Rumbles, like they had great chemistry and their matches were always good. And then, it's time to evolve again. You've held the championship, you've done this, you've done that. So he forms Evolution, brings in Batista and Randy Orton and Ric Flair, and they essentially run Raw for a few years while grooming Randy Orton and Batista to be the next big superstars. And, Randy Orton and Batista's careers speak for themselves. But if it wasn't for them taking a chance on them and putting them in Evolution, who knows where they would have gone. Then, of course, we bring back the classic D-Generation X with him and Shawn, and they finally capture the tag team titles. Have fun feuds with McMahon and Shane and the Spirit Squad, Red Edge and Randy Orton. I mean, it was a fun little experience, and then you get back to the evil side of Triple H and the corporate and the authority and his handpicked Seth Rollins, and overall, he's had a legendary career. Whether it was as Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the Game Triple H, an authority figure in DX, in Evolution. Yeah, you can say a lot of things, but overall, he had a great career. So I've got one question for you. Are you ready?